Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. Another video on the physics of Earth, our flat Earth, real physics. Not the physics they teach you at school, because they leave a lot out. They don't go full Monty on you. They just give you what they want you to know. That's why the schooling system, the education system, is actually indoctrination, the indoctrination system. You get to know what they want you to know, not the full story. We're going to expose the lies, the deception, what they're not telling you in this video when it comes to magnetism. Everything you've never been told about magnetism, okay? How this realm is a dual system. You've got people out there on the internet, really good talkers, giving a lot of information on magnetism, but denying the fact that our realm is a dual system, which is magnetism, a north and a south pole. There will always be a dual system. While the ancients said the atom cannot be cut, meaning you cannot cut magnetism in half, it will always come out a dual system. So either scientists are really ignorant, or they're just deceiving you again, saying, oh, we're clever, not like the ancients. We know how to break an atom down. But at the end of the day, they break it down, but it's still a dual system, a north and a south pole. An atom is Adam. An atom was Eve evenly split. Take Eve out of the atom is describing our meaning to life. When man is born into the physical world, his female part of the atom is removed, so to speak. So man, because man is dual, Adam is a dual entity. It's an atom, a magnetic field, north and south pole. He's created from the north and south pole. I've shown in my earlier videos. Because man is of the earth, so we're related to the earth, okay? So the way the earth works is the same way man is created. Everything on earth is all connected to the system that describes our earth. So Adam comes into the physical world and is separated from his female entity. So now we have a male and a female searching out each other, and they make babies. Okay, it's a third entity. The child is the third entity. When they come together, they create the third entity, a child. So the religious story is Adam was singular and he needed a partner. So they gave him this woman. So they took the woman out of him by the rib story, which is basically a rib cage, the other half of the atom. Eve, it called it Eve because we understand the word Eve, evenly split. So we now have a male and a female. And then you go back to physics and find, the 2D plane of our realm is the atom. Atom is the male, because up there is the sun on the horizon of the black hole, and the planets, which are male entities. Up here is the top end of the Milky Way. There's two parts of the Milky Way. The female end is down here. They come together and merge where the sun is. We see at night. Sagittarius A is the back of the sun. So we see both of these at night. Remember in the Bible it says the celestial bodies are for signs. Well, that's why you need to look up at the night sky. Everything is there in full bloom, full detail. But everybody is indoctrinated through their education system. Ignore it all. So anyway, this is the male plane, and down here becomes the female. So it was created after this. That's a 2D plane. It's the God at the top of the mountain. Look, top of the mountain. God zone. It creates the female. There's magnetic projection. Magnetism. She is magnetism. He is of both magnetism and electrical. Okay, the sun is created by electromagnetic induction, created the tropics, which is between the South Pole and the North Pole, you could say, or weak force and strong force, here's created by the two, then they take out the magnetism to create this magnetic realm. Okay, so it's all to do with this vortex up here. There's the secrets to creation, and what they're not telling you, and what the cabal, the people at the top, whoever they are, they call themselves supermen. We're just pilgrims to them. They don't tell us what we need to know about the meaning to life and all that. So we go way back. We can go back to the Superman logo. You find it got patented back in 1940s or 30s, somewhere back there. You see, is there a snake head at the top here? Because the S curve in here, always represented by the snake. That's the snake in the Bible as well. Along the ground thou shalt go, because that's what it does in our system. Along, comes up over here, down there, along the ground thou shalt go, up and over the field, back down the ground, along the ground thou shalt slither for the rest of your days, or whatever it says. This S curve. So in here we have the magical vortex that came about from the illuminated light above, the 2D plane. So this is the magnetic side. This is the female, the feminine entity. And understanding this. That's the cycle of the moon over half its cycle. Then it comes back up and in to complete it for the full moon cycle of the month. But back here we have, so they had, they call themselves supermen because only those wise men understand what it's all about. So there's your snake. And where do we find Superman's home? In the Arctic, because that's the centre Arctic. That's where all the energy is. They knew that. That's where Superman goes to get his energy. It's the hyperpoloid centre of the express toroidal field realm. Okay? So there's a big toroidal field. Like this. Okay, so this is only one system though. There's more to it because it's a split cell. Let's just stick with the one system, a north and say a south. How the field comes out to the south, returns back into the north. So south is basically just a returning north pole. If you've seen my earlier videos, you should know now that both Arctics are north poles. It's the tropical gap in here, either side are the south poles. Your compass is always pointed to those as south. Okay, the dip compass always dips in the Antarctic as well as the Arctic, both north poles. They haven't told you that. They don't want you to know. Yet they tell you the magnetic field comes out of their ball and goes all the way around to the top. So one has to come out, one has to go in. That's what a magnetic cycle does. One's in, one's out. So they're showing it there on your ball, but they're lying, hiding the fact that the magnetic field comes into the tropics. Now, some of you might have seen a few of the Nigel Cheese videos and how the establishment likes to make him look like an idiot, just like they like to make me look like an idiot, because they know we're exposing the truth. So you know what they do to people who tell the truth. They shut them down as best as they can. If they don't shut up, they go and probably knock them off. Like our friend Mr. Cooper, what's his name? Back the day when he mouthed off a bit too much about what happened on 9/11, so they went round there and shot him. Tried to make out that he fired at them first, and he probably was defending himself because he knew they were coming to kill him for telling the truth. So many people have died that way. So Nigel Cheese, and you'll see in one of his videos, he did actually say something like, and you know that big bally thing you think you live on. So I think he knows, he just doesn't want to express it, because then he knows that the bulk of them, are the people of this earth, because he's so indoctrinated, will think he's completely bonkers when he tells you that the earth is flat. But in a part of his video, he goes and exposes the fact that the field comes out of the Arctics and swings around to the tropics. just like I've been showing. See, it swings around to the tropics, swings around to the tropics, just like I've been showing for like 6 or 7 years. So we're exposing the truth here, okay? So the centre Arctic is the tight, strong magnetic field. It all comes out of there. Everything expressed out from the north. So there's their Superman logo. The S, the snake that represents the magnetic cycle. Now that's a side elevation, a side view of the magnetic field. But if you look down that way, you've got a Fibonacci, a golden ratio. But that's half the cycle. So when it returns back in, you've got a full cardanoid cycle looking down in there. So what's down inside this vortex is all reflected back up into the starry night sky in the northern hemisphere. So you're looking down in there, reflected up into the sky, night sky. But this image up in the night sky is mirror reflected to the southern sky because of the curved, convex magnetic field flux of the earth. So we get it inverted. So from the southern hemisphere, we're looking at the system back through this way now. But in the north, they see it back through this way. This is another reason why they tell you that they're not mirrored, but they are mirrored. They are mirrored. There's mirror words of mirrors, pictures of mirrors all over ancient, symbols and stuff, right through history. As I've stated in one of the earlier videos, there's an image of a man with a mirror on the Prague clock. They think they go and tell you it's vanity, something to do with vanity. And how many fools believe that? Many. It's nothing to do with that. It's a reflection of the northern hemisphere to the south. That little slither of pie there is a projected image out here. That little slither is a projected image out here. That little slither on this side is a projected image out here. It's always an image because it's all coming off the centre. Okay? It just depends on which cross of the pie you're standing on, which meridian line you are at. The image of the stars in here, the same image is out here. One revolution in there is one revolution all the way around there. Back to the beginning. So back to our snake, what have they got? They draw this S using red, then they put yellow around the outside here. Yellow represents the gold, because that's where the real sun is, the plasma sun, gold. In religion, there's a lot of gold and silver, because this gold is representing God, the sun. Silver is the moon below it, gold and silver. And in here is a lot of bronze, because it's the metaphysical iron capacitor plates, and the copper electrical creates bronze. Our whole realm is a riddle, and lots of puzzle pieces, and your cabal are muddying the waters, confusing the whole riddle, giving you the indoctrinated version, so you're all falsely indoctrinated, but that I reveal all the truth. So they put yellow around here, which represents the sun, back here at creation. And look, they've got the diamond shape, because the diamond, that goes deep, crystalline structure. You can revert back to the ice, but you go deep into magnetism, into the quantum mechanical scale of things, because our whole realm is basically a blown up quantum mechanics type of view. It's all exploded, seen in a microscopic point of view. So it all comes back to all the physics they play with, And then we have the 5 sides, 5-sided, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because they understand phi. Look, 5-sided phi connected to 5. Golden ratio, 3 to 2 ratio. 3 and 2 equals 5. Fifth, or the octave, is the strongest harmonic. Because our atmosphere, our whole creation is all about sound. And then you've got Plato's unequal divided line. It's got like 3:2 ratio. Okay. Up here, what have we got? The globe model is showing you the sovereign orb. That's another story. But understanding magnetism, the spin, you could say, how the magnetic field comes in and spins out. There's the golden ratio in here if you're looking down. But expanding on that, we've got to understand what's happening here in the tropics when it comes to magnetism. So if this, you could say there's a one singular system here, but in here there's a dual spin, there's a double spin. It's like the magnetic field comes over, because what happens is that the sun is moving around here, it's electrical. So there's a moving electrical charge here, creates a changing magnetic field, changes, comes over, spins out and goes opposite. It's forever like coming over here, down and through, then up and over there. But where the sun is, it's forever flowing like that, okay, up and over and down like this. But when the sun comes around, let's say that one particular magnetic spot, the cycle comes over and goes towards it in the middle here and does the spin around it and out. Spin and out. They both come over and spin, a double spin, and then come up, because as they come into the sun, they're basically coming into the black hole, because the sun is basically on its horizon. And they always avoid this black hole, this neutral zone. This is why you have the staff in the caduceus, or the wooden star pole, you know, Christ is hung on, because it represents neutral. They spin around that neutral zone. So the fields will come over and spin around the black hole and shoot off and appearing. Because there's a ratio, there's a difference in strength here in magnetic field. But some finds balance. So you could say, if there's a 3:2, the two find balance, but the one doesn't and keeps on flowing. There has to be this imbalance at all times in our created realm that keeps the whole system going. Otherwise, everything will just collapse back to the state of rest. Nothing would exist. So this is why Earth is always of a evil and, you know, heavenly. It's a dual system that always has to be evil with the divine. Otherwise, if it wasn't that balance, they'd come to a state of rest where it's all great and perfect and just go back to rest. It's probably stretching the story there, confusing people, but that's just the way it is. So there's always an imbalance in the system to create life, and there's a double spin here, and you'll find with these over unity systems they're coming out with now, they're realizing, even Nigel Cheese had this in his video, this double spin around this to get the free power. And there's other sites on YouTube where they've done what I've said in earlier videos. If you're going to do a copper winding, you bring it to a point. So it's all wound like this. All the energy is here. So we get a dual system going on. That's where all the energy is, in here. It's all from the ether. Bring it all in. That's the strongest point. Right here. They've figured that out. Where are we going with that? Lost myself now. Anyway, there's pairing being created. It comes up and then feeds into the Milky Way, and that comes up to the tropics. It goes over to there, the Milky Way, and then you've got the earthing, which is an earthing. Initially, comes up to that water molecule, which starts acting like the black hole, when all this system's going on, Hawking radiation, all that's going on here, comes up here. They're getting this energy, this over unity you've seen online, if you've been looking, coming over, feeds into here. There's all the power in that sun, that plasma sun. So he's got an earthing system here, and then he's got another earthing system up here, comes off the ground, magnetism. Because earthing is basically magnetism. But there's two forms of earthing. I can't remember what they're calling them. So you can say, you could have, the way I see it, you could have an earth peg in the ground, and you can also, and then the other earthing is through running water. Okay? Running water. And Tesla knew about this running water. This is just off the Arctic. Whether that's running water connected with the Beaufort guy, I'm not sure. But there's two forms of earthing. So whether they're the same earthing or not, that's something else to look into. But there's two earths in this free energy system. Yeah, so let's move along. What have we got here? Southern Hemisphere. So understanding that, understanding the sound waves, basically the Earth's atmospheric layers. What have we got here? Plato's unequal divided line. Strong. When we sing or play a note, we hear more than just the fundamental pitch, which you could say is one of the inert gaseous layers or of the the notes in music. We hear more than fundamental pitch. We hear all kinds of fractions of that pitch. Same with the atmospheric layers. We have the fundamental inert gaseous layers and frequencies, or vibration and resonance. The breakdown, which break down to sevens, halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, etc. So within these main entities, there's another, it makes up another seven. Like that. Before it goes into the eighth, changes. So 7 here. Connected with the what's that thing? The Mandelbrot. It's just breaking down, just like a magnet. Let's go into something else now. That's talking about what spins around the center Arctic, and the mirrored image out there around Sigma Octantis. The quadrilateral, the four-sided figure moving around the poles. The stars, look, around the north and south. We have the crux in the south, and the dippers, big or small dippers, around the north pole. They're the same thing. And you'll find this quadrilateral is attached to the domes. I've done an earlier video describing the dome, what the sovereign orb is all about, how it's associated with this black hole area and the 2D plane back at creation, where all the energy is created, the magic involved. So let's get here, go over here. The globe model is showing you the sovereign orb, which is the black hole of creation. The orb, Christian. Everything is Christian because it's Christ, Christos. All religions have to have this Christos. No matter how you spin all the religious stories, it's all about this Christian, Christos. Man's illumination. Christ, that's why all the physics involves Christ, which is the sun of the earth. There's only one main entity, plasma sun, in the centre of the Arctic, right there. But there's different images everywhere. You could say there's one in each hemisphere, so you break that down, singular. Everything comes back to singular place, because the dual systems become, it's unified, singular, expressed out, become dual in our system, where we have two hemispheres, male and female, and then once you get out into these hemispheres it breaks down again. So the sun is in many places but only seen in one. So every man and woman sees his own image of the sun. A lot of that in my older videos. So the orb, Christian sovereignty over the earth. We'll just listen, sovereignty. Sovereignty over the earth. What's over the earth? The 2D plane. Because earth is created from the 3D. As soon as this 3D projection came about from the light of the sun, boom, the whole system is illuminated, comes into being, comes into existence. All due to this 2D plane getting the right frequency, creating the sun on the horizon of the black hole, where the sound comes from. So you consider the four winds coming together, creating this vortex, and then the sound being created up through the core of the vortex, bang, hits the right frequency, boom, illuminates the star, and then it creates this magical zone, the 3D, and out comes existence. We all exist in this perfect resonance. The sun holds all the frequencies. Okay? Now, the fluctuation of this plane comes. It comes down like this, and then comes up flat lines, and then goes above the plane this way. The wings of a bird, up and down. Well, the up and down is connected to this house of bread. Okay, in the Bible they talk about the house of bread. Well, the bread being the loaf. There's your loaf, you could say, your loaf of bread, the toroidal field of earth. When it becomes flat-lined, is at the crossing of the sun's inner lemma. Because we're talking about the magnetic field of earth. The magnetic field of earth. That's flat-lined there. That's when this is flat-lined in here. That's when it's unleavened. It's a special place in the season of the changing season of the year. It's this point here. Unleavened. So the sovereign orb, it'll either start going that way, or it starts going this way. Into the southern hemisphere, or starts going up into the northern hemisphere. It's the fluctuation of the magnetic field. When it comes down here, it's down and out. And that's up and in. But at the same time, you have to realise it's like this this shape here, or better understood as a triangle, a pyramid. This is down and out, this is south, this is up and in, the north. So there's different aspects, different ways of viewing it, understanding this orby circular image if you want, which they connect to this globe idea. Or you can see it like this, that shape, but it's the flexing of the ecliptic plane up here, dipping down, pushing it down, pushing the field out, blobbing it out to the south like this, or like pushing on a balloon to push it all out south, and then releasing it to let it come back up and in. Down and out is the southern hemisphere, where it pushes the sun out around the south, because the sun follows the flexing of the magnetic field. And then it comes back up and in to the northern hemisphere when it gets released back up and in. So then you have to start understanding the dual cell, the dual entity of our realm. The north and the southern hemispheres is a dual system. That sort of comes in like this. In like this, but they don't fully detach. It's that little zone there, that little movement there is where the sun is, or how we're all led to believe that the sun is in the tropics. The ecliptic plane, it's this overlay is where all the energy is, where the two magnetic fields are spinning into each other. It's all happening in here, but there's many ways you've got to open your mind to. That little overlay is where all the energy is created, between that two hemispheres. If it comes right up and in, then the sun comes right up to the north, and when it comes right back out, the sun moves out south. So it's just this little movement here where we're led to believe that the sun goes in and out on the ecliptic plane at the celestial tropical zone, but not quite. This little zone here. This is what's happening with the changing of the magnetic field. It's this flexing of the plane. So it's even worded right, you know, over the earth. Hollow balls of gold. In some religious stories or mythological stories, because we're talking about this hollow core. This core, and this is connected to what you might have caught the day I was on Jeranism, and he mentioned something about a church dome, how it's actually flat, but you get this, the way it's painted, you get this 3D imaging of a curved ceiling. It's all connected to this hollow core, deceiving. This is like when you see the moon. Sometimes you could see, you imagine it has craters. You're all led to believe it's got craters, but if you go deep, then you see it has blisters. They go from convex to concave, concave to convex. It's all involved with this. Our whole realm is very deceiving. The gold is king, the silver is queen. Okay? Understanding, go check out. This is esoteric. It's all coded messages. You've all been led to believe what the preachers tell you at church. No, they've got no idea. They haven't gone to the other level. The spiritual realm. Dome. Look, house. Dome. Dome over your churches is the house. House of bread. Greek. House of God. It's all connected. Come down here, we've got result of the action. Now I've been away for a couple of days after drawing all this and having it all on my mind, so I've lost the connection, the zone I was in, but I've made all these notes. You got Ava Maria. Maria, and you look up Ma and Ria, look. Ma representing result of the action. Ria, symbolic meaning of flowing water. It's the moon, you see. The moon. Ria is the moon. Ma, Maya, mother, moon, Mary, all representing the moon cycle and the water here. What more can I say? So understanding magnetism, how they've lied, kept it all from you. The S-curve of Superman represents this connection with the center Arctic. S-curve of creation. No matter how tall is the vortex, vortex water, no matter how high or small it is, you only get one S-curve from the bottom to the top to the bottom. The centre will be spinning away like this, the core, that's the Milky Way. You see that at night. But this is the motion of the stars over 12 hours, then back up and in. For the other 12, there's a 24-hour cycle, up and in. The S-curve, magnetism. Our whole realm, all about magnetism. Everything reverts back to magnetism. Now, many, this is infinite when the field's down and out. But there's only one centre north. It goes around the centre north, the magnetic cycle. It comes out, spins around the south and goes back up around the north. Out around the south, back up around the north. It's doing this all the way around in the cycle, continuously flowing around the earth like this. Okay? Till it hits the sun. Where the sun comes along, bang, spins around the sun and flies up through the tropics to create the male end of the Milky Way. And in there it finds pairing. So some find pairing, balance to feed the black hole, the neutral, the core, and the other spins around it to feed into the sun, feeds the pure plasma, the plasma sun. But not all finds pairing because they're not all hitting the sun, are they? So the magnetic field is always flowing. It's just not creating the energy where the electrical is. Okay? It just keeps flowing. But it'll spin around that area there, spin around that to create the, could say, third entity, to feed the plasma sun. This is all connected with Nigel Cheese's free power, free energy. He knows what he's talking about. And there's other characters who have been doing it anyway, like a few years ago. There's a couple of Australians. And even he, on one of his Instagram posts, I think it is, mentions there's people around the world who have done it. A couple of guys in Australia. So there's free energy out there, and a lot of stuff is now being exposed in regarding this free energy. But they're trying to hang on to everything as long as they can, like the lies of, you know, how they tell you that the magnetic field comes out of the bottom of their ball and goes around to the top. So one goes in, one comes out. Yet we've known for years, that they've known for years, but don't tell the public, that the magnetic dip compass will dip at both Arctics. So if it goes into the Earth at both Arctics, how can there be a magnetic field coming out and going in if they're both going in? So I've exposed their lies. They're stuffed. But they're hanging on for grim death, you know, trying to shut me down. Because the fields come from the Arctics and go to the tropics. That's your South Pole, where it goes into the Earth. Out of the Earth, into the Earth. It's a no-brainer once you start understanding the flat Earth system. It all makes sense. Okay? The sovereign orb. You know, the Queen's got something on her staff. It's called the sovereign orb, because they understand all this. It's where creation is. Everything comes out of the black hole. Earth is from the hole. Our whole realm comes out of that hole. And all the actions around that hole. Okay? Now some people connect the I don't know if they're making the connection, but you could connect the, you know, they're going on about the moon, the image on the moon, how it can move, and our whole earthly realm can move over thousands or millions of years. But if they treat that as an orb, how can it be moving? I mean, if it's just like a cylinder spiraling up the cylinder, changing, you could say yes, but on a globe, you know, once you understand the whole flat Earth model, you can't have the image on a globe moving on the globe. Well, which way is it going? North, east, south, or west? How can it just be like all over, changing all over? But there could be a connection with the changing. Earth is always changing anyway, because you've got to understand the plowshare of the magnetic field. Our whole realm, nothing's actually physical, so it's changing, and this is where subduction comes into it. Some's going under the ground, some's coming out, so it's changing that way as it moves around, everything moves around. That's what if the Earth is moving, spiraling out of the center Arctic, this is why you get the magnetic field appearing to come, or vice versa, magnetic field going that way as the Earth is spiraling out that way. You've got to think of these counter forces. Telling you the magnetic, geographical magnetic north is moving. How about the land moving instead of the magnetic field moving? The actual land they're referencing is moving east as the field moves west. Or the vice versa, I can't remember. Understanding the Big Dipper, put the handle on there. We'll get rid of the handle idea and looking like a pipe. Put your cross in there, the crux. Quite easy. Those are the two obvious places where you can see the mirror effect, because in between is all relative to the observer. Okay? So those are the only two spots that are obvious, is where the North Pole is, South Pole, and the center, where we get this cross again across the center line of the 3 stars of Orion's belt. So you've got Sirius and Rigel, and what's the other one? Betelgeuse and Aldebaran. How they flip in a mirror image. Those two are the same stars. Rigel and Sirius are Aldebaran and Betelgeuse. Juice, or whatever how they pronounce it. So everything goes back to magnetism. Okay, you got the S spiral out, representing the center place. Magnetism. There's a connection here I'm missing. I've lost it. But it's to do with this and this. All comes from here. Magnetism. One spiral, the S curve in there. But around the sun there's a dual spin. But yeah, they must both spin around twice. There could be just one spinning twice, but I can't go there at the minute. But there is a dual spin here. Like when we get a shock, you go in, whoa! So you go in and spin around and out. Spin and out. Spin and out. It's not just a wind and out. No. Well, I hope that was clear enough to anybody who's got an open mind to understand all this stuff. If you like this sort of stuff, you might want to think about jumping on my Patreon. Put some pretty good information in there. Yeah. Okay, and put a thumbs up or likes up and subscribe. Cheers. Thanks for watching.